we're going to jump right in. First thing in our instructions here is, boom, cockpit. And let's talk about the cockpit for a second. Yeah, I'm trying really hard to not just launch into why Tamiya is better than Great Wall Hobby, but I have a feeling that's going to be a big part of this. I will immediately give it to Great Wall Hobby for the detail level that they have in here. I mean, if you look at that, it definitely beats Tamiya. Once I get this together, I mean, if you're watching this, you probably even built or know the Tamiya kit, but I will show the two compared afterwards. There's definitely, as we look here, there's definitely a lot more detail in this Great Wall part, right? So, I mean, you can see that it's got, you know, definitely more detail going on for it in terms of the panels and all that throttle. That's just effing unacceptable and terrible. So let's put together the cockpit and we'll come back. All right, so as I glue these things in, what I'm noticing right off the bat is, unfortunately, this plastic is much softer than the Tamiya. So what you end up having happen, if you get a good look in here, is all of these little sprue nubs here on the other side. You have to kind of file down take your file and file down the parts. Also, right off the bat, I mean, all these parts, while they fit in there, you can see the gaps, just the seam lines there are definitely bigger than what I would expect or would have want. So let's just keep doing this. As far as putting this together, you know, I've already had my doubts about doing this kit versus somehow modifying Tamiya to be able to do the flap slats and speed brakes. I'm hoping that I'm doing the greater good for people, that somebody will have an aftermarket set that has exactly that. The other thing I'm also questioning is, would I be better off just building the Tamiya kit, cutting out the speed brakes, and seeing if the speed brakes for the Great Wall Hobby kit will work, and or the wings somehow. I don't know. I'm gonna press for it. I bought this kit. I'm gonna press for it and build it. But other than the fact that it definitely has, you know, nicer actual, you know, like, you know, the details are crisper. I don't know that there's anything else about this that really is making me super thrilled so far. So at the risk of being negative about it, right off the bat, it's the Tamiya kit. But we're gonna press forward, we're gonna make this happen. I did go ahead and pull, boom. I think, well, Quinta, if they haven't, they will do a set. However, because I wanna build this right now, I have a very small window of time with which to be building this kit. I don't have time to order from Quinta and get that stuff in. So as you can see, I'm already just doing this here. So by the end of the day, the goal is to have quite a bit of basic construction done. So we're gonna press forward with this, and that's my story and I'm sticking to it. And on the note about soft plastic, just pressing on it actually can deform it, which is pretty freaking sucking. You can see right here, I had to move right there. I had to move this whole piece forward to fit the back piece in, which we're going to talk about next. But just from basically moving that forward with very little pressure, we have hurt that part. Same thing with our other part here. Right here, just from having to press it forward, it deforms the plastic. So maybe the thicker plastic is better, but these cockpit pieces here are really fucking soft. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to put pilots in here and close the canopy, so a lot of this will disappear, which is why I'll probably end up painting it. But it doesn't bode well. I mean, this is the first thing I'm doing, and I'm already able to damage parts with very light pressure. So let's move on and talk about this back piece here. we got here. It's not glued in. I just set it in there. But this is what I've used previously. This is the Edward part that I use on Tamiya builds, and I love it. It takes a little bit of finessing to get it in there. This is the D part up front. So let's cut it off of our sprue. There's our shape. What we actually should have is this side over here should be a little bit more pronounced, squared off. The D also does not have these cooler vents here. What they have is square vents on the front here and here, which is not represented. I'm just gonna say, I don't like this part. Oh, there's actually some pretty good flash. You can see on that part there. I don't like the way the part is shaped, honestly. It just too boxy for me. The other thing is, when we put it on, it does fit right on, there you go. Yeah, I just don't like the shape of it. And the big thing is this set of, I guess, vents or structure here should actually be up here, not down here. So there's a weird thing going there I'm just not a fan of. Now, cut to, boom. Our Tamiya part has that correct shape and has the vents we want. There we go. You can see up front here and not on the side here. And it's shaped better. It looks better. So my question is going to be, can I replace the kit part with the Tamiya part? And do I use the Tamiya panel here? Or do I come over here and grab the Great Wall Hobby panel and then put the Tamiya part to that? So we're going to check that out and see what happens. Either way, I am planning on using this Tamiya part. Okay, let's just for fun do this and put this on here. So you can see right off the bat, wow, yeah, that would not work at all there. But if we take this out, our Edward part here, which does take a little bit of shaping to get in better, could we then use this whole Edward back part there? That's going to be the fun that we figure out. Let's see, just by doing some rough kind of measuring, looking at it. Yeah, it would work. We just need to, well, we're going to cut all this stuff out anyways and just cut this back a little bit. So I think that's going to be the best option. The thing is going to be when we turn this around and we put this part on here, how is that going to fit? And our pressing on brings us right back to, here is the Great Wall part. Again, from an accuracy, from a detail standpoint, it looks really cool. From an accuracy standpoint, well, this should be squared. And this screen is the wrong shape. It's a 12 by 12, folks. It is a square PTID screen, not this elongated thing that they give you. But it does look good, but look at this. That pretty much would fit right on there, which if this piece is geared to fit in the cockpit perfectly, let's check. Well, what do you know? It would. Oops. Gonna be hard to show this with it. There's no positive locating for this, but it will fit on there. And with a little bit of cutting, we can drop in that Edward part there, and we put our Tamiya part. You can see it's gonna sit a little high, so what we do need to do is push down this part, which shouldn't be too bad. All we need to do is kind of measure off a few things, how it needs to drop down, and we cut it and come back. Before we move on, let's just finish this off. The nice thing with this really soft plastic is I just cut the map case down a little bit lower, so I didn't have to cut this part anymore. And boom, that part goes right in like that. And our Tamiya part fits right over the top and will sit exactly where we need it to sit. Oh. All right, there we go. We'll sit exactly where we need it to sit. There's just a little bit of trimming to be done here, either along the sides or for the Tamiya part. Yeah, rare. All right, right along the edges there. So that is cool and good news. We can fit in, we'll just keep using the Great Wall parts here. Although really Tamiya, when you go over here and pull out the Tamiya part, it fits better. It's just nicer. The shape of that P-tit is definitely more accurate, but we're going to try and just use as much Great Wall out of the box as we can. So, congratulations to me. I figured something out. All right, you ready for this one? Engineering fail number 1. Here we go. Landing gear bays. That piece fits right in there like that. And here is the other side. Fits in exactly the same way. How stupid is that? Okay, so make sure you get these numbered correctly and oriented correctly, because they go in either side perfectly. All right, we're getting into the cockpit. Let's try that again. We're getting into the front landing gear bay, and as I just showed you, these walls will fit either way, but once you get them in, you can see we got our part of our front landing gear here. And to start with, I'm not going to put all the wiring in there just yet. I will give Great Wall Hobby some kudos for providing that wiring, and we'll get to it, but I'm going to paint it slightly different white. But here's the pain in the ass, man. Nothing about this gear bay was easy or fun. And what I'm finding right off the bat, Tamiya's engineering is so awesome that it may not be the most detailed kit, but it fits together in only one way. It goes together quickly, easily, and it's fun. Great Wall Hobby, yeah, I'm gonna probably be regretting building this thing at some point, other than right off the bat. But let's see if we can get this in here. Fitting these parts in. Okay, the plastic is soft. Now that does sit in there pretty easily, but the plastic is soft. And here is one that I have not experienced in quite some time. Tamiya extra thin cement and this plastic are not made for each other. All I can think of is that this plastic is really soft, so every time you cut the sprue gates, you are practically damaging pieces, but the glue just doesn't work on it that well. And I've had this cockpit sitting here for a good 30-40 minutes, and if I wanted to, I could probably pull these pieces out. Take a little bit of work now, but it took a good 10-15 minutes before anything was solid. And so there you go. Tamiya, it's like Great Wall Hobby, here, let's look at this, attempted to do what Tamiya did, but nothing about this, like, it's like a poor, I don't know. I've built their SU-37 or SU-35 and had a great time. Definitely some soft plastic in this, but for the cost of this kit, which go watch Doug's Models, a review of this kit. I would do a straight up review, but I would say the exact same thing that he did. For what they are charging for this kit and the fact that it came out after Tamiya, this thing should be beyond Tamiya, and it's not even it's just not even in the same category as Tamiya. So all right, further give you an example of what I'm talking about. There's these mold seams in these parts, right? So I just cut this off. This is going to go in the forward wheel bay here. There you go. That is just cutting it off the part. So I'm not going to glue this yet because there's a lot of freaking cleanup that needs to be done. I'm sorry, this shit is just not worth whatever. I don't know, I paid for 125 bucks on this kit, where the Tamiya kit you get for like 90. We'll talk all more about it later, but if you're following along so far, more power to you, because this is the 4th or 5th time I've just had the thought, why am I doing this? But yet I promised and told myself I would, so we're going to press ahead, and I'll have better things to say. But man, that's just like, that's bullshit. Okay, I'm going to show you more examples here of the mismolded parts, and it's not like this is a one-off and I got a bad kit. This is the way all the kits are. So you can see the hydraulic reservoir. I haven't really done a lot of cleanup to it yet, but you can see it's all mismolded. You can see the lines. Every one of the hydraulics or lines in the cockpit, or in not the cockpit, the landing gear bays, has, you know, some seams that need cleaning up. So at this point, I've spent more time building this landing gear bay than I would have done for major construction on a Tamiya Tomcat, and my fun meter is about pegged. I got about an hour left of my day today, but this is literally going to represent, between this and the cockpit, the better part of way more hours than I'd like to admit, and there's still a lot of cleanup work that's going to need to be done there before you can do any painting. So more power to you if this is what you like, but I would rather grab the MCC landing gear bays and either Detail and Wonder or Res Kit landing gear for the Tamiya kit, and be, you know, just have a beautiful 3D printed set of stuff that's perfect and the real thing, as opposed to dealing with this. But I made a promise. Here we go. And